And we are live. What's up, guys? It's Ruben from Dubb's podcast, Connection Loop. I have Isaac here, Isacc Guzman, and he's a power Dubb user. He's got a team down in San Diego, and I want to hear about that success story. But really, I want to hear about your origin story and about you as an innovator and as an early adopter in the real estate industry. It seems like you've done some really cool things. I'd love to learn more about you.
Yeah, so thanks so much for the intro, man. We love Dubb, by the way. I mean, that is a shameless promotion. We adopted it and we're loving it. And I'll share some success stories after. But origin is really me just getting a job. One time I got a job because I needed a job, and it's so weird, but and it's a lot of our stories, right? I just needed a job, and I got an IT support at a software company that happened to sell software to real estate agents. And what I noticed is it was that really like freemium model, like 30-day free trial, then it converts into a monthly bill. And people would not understand exactly how to use it because those people that were trying to use it were early adopters themselves. But there's also some people who didn't really know how to use it. Anyways, long story, I kept saving the potential cancels. And from there, I go, hey, I think I could sell this thing, but I'd like to try to sell it to teams. There's this new concept called teams. This is 2012-ish. And I go, but I only want to sell to teams. And I don't want to sell to brokerages. So then I created my own sales process there to sell real estate software solutions to real estate agents. And then I hired my own team and kind of went from there. The software ended up getting bought by a big competitor. And from there, I went into real estate investing and was just doing the hard work, bird dogs, right? All that stuff, kind of helping investors find potential deals.
What's bird dogs?
So bird dog is somebody who goes out literally just driving around and says, that looks like an ugly, crappy property that might want to sell for cash. Maybe this investor that I know will buy it. And if the investor buys it, they pay me $500 from having said, go talk to these people.
Got it. So is it typically on a lead basis or only if the transaction happens?
It depends on who you're working with, right? The person that I was doing it with, they were like $200 if I talk to the person and meet with them, $500 if I buy it, right? But from there, I learned the art of negotiating with sellers and talking to sellers. And so talking to motivated sellers is a key thing in real estate, right? Because if you control the listing inventory, you control everything else. So talking to motivated sellers is the skill set I gained there. From there, I went into another really just job where I was learning about real estate investment. I worked for a real estate investment education company. And in that meantime, I was really learning the process. And my wife got pregnant. And she, we're about to have our first kid. I'm working at this job. I have benefits. It's pretty good. I'm getting promoted. I have a lot of upward mobility. But I looked and I said, you know what? When I have that kid, I'm not going to want to take much risk. Right? I said, so now or never. So I tell my 5-month pregnant wife, hey, by the way, I know you're still in college and just kind of figuring out what's going to happen after college, but I'm going to quit my job, leave everything and go sell real estate.
and that's the time to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you wait, it becomes more difficult.
No, I just knew my brain was not going to allow me to want to take a risk when I saw a little baby that I was responsible for.
Oh yeah.
So I just jumped and I said, let's do it. She supported me. I went into it. But what's crazy is this, and this is how it ties into technology. One of the people that I sold the team software solution to actually was running the number one real estate company or number one real estate office in my city here in San Diego. So I reach out and I start talking to him. He's super tech savvy guy, taught himself to code on Christmas break as a present to himself. Really high level, intelligent guy. And so we get together, we start working on stuff, and I get into real estate. In a very short time, he pulls me aside one day and says, hey, I think that there's something different you should be doing in real estate.
Yeah.
You should be helping leadership and
Nice.
developing other people. And so I got into that role. And when I was doing that, he exposed me to a lot of why he was an early adopter of the software that I sold him a while back. And he talked a lot about leverage and a lot about really conveying that sales is influence and leadership is influence. So leadership and sales are the exact same thing. And so how can you influence and lead people? That results in sales, right? How can you influence and lead people in a more leveraged way?
Right.
And every single time it came back to technology. So for me, I'm always willing to try new technology. Like, I mean, again, I'm sure you'll ask me questions about how we use Dubb. It's because we want to be effective in influencing people, effective in leading people, which again are synonymous with sales. And by being able to do that, we have to use leverage, because as the team scales, we're going mass media. Don't get me wrong. We have billboards and we're on TV and all this stuff. But in order to really leverage me as an individual salesperson, or one of the people that are on my team, these world-class people that I work with, in order to leverage themselves in that area of leadership and influence, you gotta leverage technology.
Yes.
Whether it's CRM, but video is huge.
Right. Well, I think it's such a breath of fresh air to hear that from you, because I was just having a conversation actually today with someone, and he was saying, Jason Duncan, and he was saying that he's psyched to be using technology specifically. I mean, he was talking about Dubb, shameless plug there, but what he said was interesting, and it struck a chord with me. He said, I want to be using this type of technology, sending videos to kind of build up relationships with people as fast and as quickly as I possibly can, because eventually everyone's going to be doing it.
Yep.
So when I heard about that, there was a couple of emotions that went through and sort of ideas and thoughts that went through my mind, which is, number one is, we want to be available out there for people to use. Obviously, we want to scale as a company, but also, as more people start to leverage technology, we all have to continue to sharpen our tools, so that as the non-early adopters, as the late adopters start to use technology, that we can actually stay ahead of the curve and be in front of them and have a competitive edge. So I think about this, and it affects all of us. Like, how can we always stay ahead?
Yeah.
So how are you guys staying ahead? What else are you guys doing?
So when we decided to really go into video, one of the main things, so what keeps us ahead, super quick or super easy answer, is masterminding with people that are at the top of the game. So we are a top 150 team in the United States by real estate sales volume. And so that's who we hang out with. And so when we see them doing something that we believe works, either something that we already do and they do better, or something we don't do that we think we might want to do, that's one of the main things to help us stay ahead. Now, to even outpace them, what it is following a process of adoption, right? So that's one of that's a tech term you hear, right? Adoption. Who's going to be an early adopter, all those things. Well, in order to influence other people, we first have to enroll our team. So we have 20 salespeople. They're all rock stars. We have to enroll them in things like believing in video, right? How to use it, how to train them. So when I'm enrolling you in something, I pretty darn well better be knowledgeable about it. I better understand it at a high level. And I should be able to point to some use cases that make my argument for me, right?
Yeah.
So in order to do that, I have to use video all the time. So how do I stay is I actually use it for leading. I use it so a big part of what we do in our industry is there's a huge correlation between how many people work for you and how profitable you are.
Right. Isn't that the key metric on productivity?
Yeah, it is. And so there's in a cap model, commission structure, whatever, if you don't talk real estate, don't worry about it. But there's about a 91% correlation between agent count and profitability.
Yes.
So there's the front door where we have to recruit. There's the back door we have to have culture keep people in, right? And so in order to do that, I have a real job. I am actively recruiting and attracting talent. And then I'm actively re-enrolling my group into, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's how we like to do it. This is the culture, right? And so I leverage technology. When I want to make an announcement, I do that stuff. And so what that forces me to do, because I'm also really busy, what that forces me to do is just last week, I asked you, hey, I want to learn this one thing about Salesforce's integration with Dubb, or Dubb's integration, because we use Salesforce at a high level, which is rare in a real estate team too.
It is, but that's cool.
And
it's a flexible
you
tool.
said, hey, check out what see Darius, right? And so that I had to go learn. I had to spend the time learning that thing, and then I can roll it out to my team. So I think it's one, not just believing in it, but actually using it, and using it aggressively, to where I now, like, every new feature that comes out, I mess with it, right? And it's that degree of curiosity too, right? I'm curious, what can this do? I know when you first started messaging on LinkedIn, I was like, hey, I have a product idea. And you're like, dude, it's already in the works, right? But if I'm not sitting there messing with it, toying with it, trying to see what else this thing can do, and from an angle of curiosity, it creates a gap between me and whoever else is pushing. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it actually, it speaks to me in a couple of ways, because one of the things that we're always thinking about, and I'd love to get your advice on this, is how we can help adoption, how we can, inspire people, motivate people to say, you know what, this is something new. It's a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I don't have a lot of experience doing this. What am I talking about? Using Dubb, using video for sales, essentially, and getting them to adopt. That adoption from a quote unquote non-believer. It's kind of like trying to convince someone that eats French fries every day to start eating healthy.
Yeah.
Pardon the analogy, but I mean, that's how I look at it a lot of times. And it's difficult because someone is just not bought into it. They want to enjoy their food. They don't want to start eating quinoa and kale every day, or 4 times a week. So we all, as marketers, as educators, as product developers, we think about that. How can we inspire people to take a chance, on something new? What's your take on that? How do you get over that?
I mean, obviously I can't do it perfectly, and I'll give my best take on that, which is, it's all about the enrollment process when coming on, or when integrating something new. So what we do is we use a good dialogue. And again, this isn't perfect, and I'm sure there's a million people that have a great way as well. But a lot of what we do is we talk about agreement systems, right? So an agreement system is something where it says, what are you hoping to accomplish? Right. So, like, for example, in our onboarding process, and then we do this every year with our people too, but an onboarding process actually describes the full way. So I do something called a motivation interview. I actually just did one with somebody named Albert earlier today. And I break life into 4 quadrants. And I say, here's your money, here's your career, here's the other 2 areas that matter, whether it's health, family, fitness, travel, whatever they want to do. And I ask them 4 questions. What do you want it to look like in 3 years? They describe it. Second question is, what lengths are you going to have to go to be able to see that happen? 3 is, why is it significant? 4 is, how do you feel when you do it? But those first 2, we go through that in all 4 areas. And then what I tell them is this: we just created our agreement system. You want your life to look like X in the next 3 years? Knowing what I know about our business and the opportunity we can create for you, I am committing to helping you achieve X. Right? This is now line 1. What you want in your life, this is my commitment to you. This is my agreement that if you do everything I say and all the things, and you stick to the plan, and you uphold the standards, and you do exactly what we ask you to do, and you trust us with your life, this is going to be your life. That's my agreement. Now, you just answered me, because here's what happens. I want to make $200,000, Isaac. Third year with you, I want to make $200,000 and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Thanks, Albert. What's it going to take? And he says, long days, cut out late nights, work hard, work day in and day out, 7 days a week, grind, whatever they say. Okay, great. I agree. My agreement is that if you do those things, that's not an unreasonable expectation to make $200,000 a year on our team your 3rd year. Not an unreasonable thing. We live in San Diego. It's actually pretty plausible. Now, here's your agreement. Your agreement is that you're going to work hard. You're going to grind. You're going to do whatever it takes, blah, 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 blah. So now enter in 6 months down the road, and I want Albert to start trying a new technology and adopt something. I go, hey, guys, we're rolling this out. Here's our thing. This is what we're going to do. This is why we believe it. Here's the person that used it that we think is a good idol. Here's the numbers 325% higher conversion rate when you use video. Like I know that, my team knows that because Dubb taught me that, right? You taught me that, and you showed verifiably that that's true. So when I say that, and then I go, okay, so everyone's committing to 10 videos, and I see Albert's face go, then I can come pull Albert aside and go, hey, Albert, so you're going to be adopting video, right? Well, I don't really believe in it. I'm comfortable doing this. I'm comfortable eating my French fries instead of shooting videos. Well, okay, let's pull out our agreement.
Yeah.
You said you were willing to do whatever it takes. You were willing to, I think this is whatever it takes. So here's all I'm saying, Albert. You're your own person. You're going to make your own decisions. But when you choose to violate the agreement, that alleviates me from my end of the agreement. So if at the end of the year you do not make $200,000, we know why you didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Violated your agreement. Therefore, I no longer have to uphold mine. Now, is that a rough conversation to have sometimes? Sure. But if you're a great leader and you onboard great people in the right way, then you can have that conversation and they feel taken care of. They feel heard. They feel understood. And they also knew the terms in which they were signing up. And if they didn't believe it before then, now they know this is really how we live our life, is by the agreement system. So
that's interesting.
That's how it helped them. The other part is this: make it part of the process.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It just is. That's what we always do. Like Albert is going to come onto our team probably the next 2 weeks. He's literally not going to know that we never shot videos. He's probably going to think that we've shot videos since.
Right. It's part of the culture. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So I think there's a couple of takeaways that I have from that. So number one is that, I think it is important anytime you're adopting technology, a new process, a new system, that you have to have that self-accountability. You have to say, there's a reason why this is being recommended. There's a reason why it's out there. If I put in the time, put in the work, put in the patience, get over the learning curve, then I'm gonna have faith and I'm gonna see results. But if you don't put in that time and you don't pay those dues and get over that hump, then you're not going to see results. And I think it's unfair to someone like yourself or a company or a leader. I think it's unfair if you don't give it that chance, because then it's a foregone conclusion,
Yeah.
And I think the other takeaway here is that this is a cultural thing, using tech, and in this case, using video for sales. It's a cultural thing. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to do things that are outside of my comfort zone. But I think if in the spirit of collaboration, if someone enters a working organization that has systems that are working, then I think it sort of is required, at least for them to try. And if not, maybe they're not the best culture fit, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, it's huge, man. And that's what we talk about partnership. Like, we have a $1.2 million marketing budget this year. I'm not any of my agents to shell out cash up front. We're going to pay the check for that billboard, for that TV spot, whether we sell real estate or not. We're on the hook for that, right? We signed a contract. Mm-hmm. Their investment as a partner, not an employee, their investment is time and doing what we know to be true and effective, right? So your investment is sweat equity. We'll spend $1.2 million. You spend the time doing the things that we believe are the right things to do. And that now we're all investing, right? So that's kind of the way we look at it too.
That's cool. I mean, one of the, you mentioned your ad budget. One of the models that I don't know why it's not more utilized within real estate, but it's specifically it's video plus lead gen ads on Facebook. Google has them, by the way, now. So you can fill out a form and get a lead right from a Google ad. It's pretty cool. It's an extension. And then, it's cool. And then a second layer on top of that, which is a video landing page with a schedule booker or some sort of a form fill, right? That model is what a lot of enterprise companies use. That's what we use. We use that model. We have a video, and then there's a lead gen ad, and then the end user clicks a button. They go to a Dubb landing page. It's a video landing page. They watch another video, which is high value, and then they could book a time, or they could sign up. They can fill out a form. That model, I wish more people use it in real estate, because the amount of targeting that you can do is crazy. You can do, geo-targeting based on zip. You can do household income. You can do propensity to sell a home, propensity to buy a home. You know, like annual spending. I mean, there's like size of family, even the size of the home that the person lives in. This is all based on the census data. You can only target neighborhoods that have houses over 2,000 square feet or 5,000 square feet. So there's so many intelligent ways to advertise with specifically for real estate. I'm surprised, I suppose, that a lot more people don't tap into those, and they kind of stick with some of the more maybe challenging or less attribution focused advertising. What is your take on that?
Yeah, so I'll give you two pieces. One is there's some of us out there, us included, that know these things and we know we're executing poorly on them.
Okay.
Right? And then the other reason I would actually say is why most people don't is because of a problem that we actually solve for agents in our community. So what I mean by that is when I got into real estate, I love marketing. I love video. I love doing things like this. I didn't know that that's what I was going to love. I didn't know that was the aspect of it. I wanted to sell houses, right? So we start selling houses, and then an agent will get successful, and they'll sell houses, and they're making good money. Dude, selling houses in San Diego is not a bad job if you know what you're doing, right? And what ends up happening is at a certain point, you end up saying, okay, now I have to become a marketer. Now I have to become, and that's all fine too, because it's usually like really in alignment with who we are as people, right? Like we're very energetic, I-type personalities, whatever you want to call it. But then you also get bogged down with like, dude, the residential purchase agreement in California is like 11 pages.
Oh yeah, it's a beast.
Right? So you're managing this stuff, and then all of a sudden you're doing like 15% of what you love and trained to do, which is like sell and market. And then the rest is like, I don't know, scheduling showings and like managing timelines and the photographer and like the sink and the paint and all these things. And you end up not doing the most important thing, the thing that makes you happy, the thing that made it fun in the beginning, especially as you start growing, because nobody adds scale, right? And so our operations team is what does that, but rarely do people have operations. Honestly, ask your average real estate agent that's successful, their assistant is probably their like ninth assistant, and their first 8 were all like the son or daughter of a friend that just graduated college.
Yeah.
So they're not professionals. They don't have an operating system. So what that means is this: they're so caught in the weeds when they see and hear something amazing, like everything you're talking about, because I know Dubb's forms exist. I know all that stuff exists, and I want to start utilizing it more and more and more, which is why we're starting to use it in Salesforce now, because you guys are giving us those tools to be able to do that. What I actually have the time to do that stuff. Most real estate agents are not rolling with a team. I have 4 full-time operations people, right, that are managing files, that are closing, that are managing listings. Dude, our agents, they go out and get a contract signed. They literally just drop it off at the office. Actually, they literally email it, but I just say that for like so you can feel it. Drop it, boom. The team is handling it world class, and they get to focus on the client. The team is handling the paperwork, handling timeline, documentation, all that stuff. Meanwhile, the agent gets to give the client a world class customer service experience, and that's all they do. They do the thing that they're really good at. And so because of that, and because we have our operations team, I get to then go to the agent and say, hey, here's this really cool thing on Dubb. Let's try it. Right? But your average agent doesn't have the capacity to like even give world-class customer service, let alone go learn the new innovative thing and adopt it. Even though I would argue that it's just as important as anything else they're doing, if not more important, to pay somebody to do those other things or join a team that already has a system like that.
That's insightful. We are constantly evolving our process, our technology, and feedback like this is really important to us. I always say this, it's so important to us. If you ever want to have a co-hosted webinar, a coaching session, something small, I mean, we're not that far from San Diego. We could also just do it virtually. I'd be super, super game to support you with that and to really.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
I'm curious. we used another video service that a lot of real estate agents use. And agility was so lacking. Communication was so hard. I felt like they didn't even use their own product. It was really weird. It was just so different. So when we were looking for stuff, I checked out everybody. And it's like, you're watching this and like, this is shameless Dubb promotion. By the way, Ruben's not paying me for any of this, FYI, all that stuff, right? Shameless Dubb promotion. I checked them all out. The one you're thinking about right now, and you're like, the guy is calling me back tomorrow. I checked it out. Guarantee you I saw it. What you guys are doing made sense right when I got in. The reason why we're sticking with you guys and have added we probably doubled our user count since we started the account. I think you can kind of track that and see that, and we'll continue to do it. Is literally because like every single day I'm getting like I've filled out so many of your forms on your landing pages because you're marketing. I'm like, ooh, I want to know about that. Like I want to know the 10 things. Then I use that for the training of my team. So yeah, man, I would love for you to come out and teach that, because what that does, it does fulfill something for me being a shameless promoter of my business, which is, look at us. We're here side by side with people that are actually creating the technology that you are like kicking yourself in the butt year after year saying, I should have adopted. I have an agent that and like, she's probably going to see this video because I'm for sure going to send it to her. I have an agent that said, my coach told me about video 10 years ago and I never adopted it. Right? Now she understands the value of it and she's going to start using it now. But like that, to me, this right here shows not only do I like video and I'm halfway decent at like holding the phone near my face, and I do it consistently, but I'm masterminding with the people who are creating that technology.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's
huge.
Well, there's these three kind of tips that I have for people in real estate that are using video. These are my go-to tips that I wish any real estate person was using with Dubb or without Dubb. It doesn't matter. So number one is anytime you meet a person, a prospect, a lead, someone that you meet at an open house, a referral, you SMS, you text them, a personalized greeting video.
Okay.
The great thing about sending a personalized video over SMS is that, especially on iPhone, Dubb videos play really well on iPhone. They auto play, and then they play directly within the message, within the body of the message. But even Android works well as well. So the reason why that's valuable is because the vast majority of other agents are not going to be doing that. And it shows, there's this great quote that I always use, which is that the medium is the message. The medium that we are picking here, which is video, is future forward. It's innovative. It's technological. So people value, in my opinion, people that are technologically savvy, at least that have a tool set, So to show someone that you're doing something a little quote unquote fancy or innovative, it conveys trust. It pushes the needle a little bit. The second one is your calls to action. So a calendar booking page is every single person, every single agent, for that matter, every single business person should have a calendar booking page. We have spent so much time innovating on this. We have, half a dozen integrations with calendar systems, and to have your calendar directly below a video landing page and to give people that option to book a time in your calendar and have it sync with your calendar is priceless. I mean, it saves me hours every single week. And it brings me people that I want to chat with and that want to chat with me. So, whether you use, a Calendly, a QE scheduler, HubSpot, I think Google, Gmail, Book Like a Boss, any number of those, it's going to work. It's going to integrate. Get yourself that calendar booking page and specifically have your video say, listen, it was really nice to meet you, or I really look forward to meeting you. Would you consider booking a time in my calendar? And then have that person self-book that time. And then they'll get the notifications. They'll get the reminders. Trust is built. It's like having a virtual assistant. And then my last tip that I think I recommend to folks in real estate, or really for that matter, anyone, it's to do real-time editing. And what I mean by that is the Dubb mobile app. this is like a shameless commercial for Dubb, but hey, listen, we've invested so much into the tech and we want people to be using this, is real-time editing with clips. So in a home, it's a perfect application because house tours, those take like 4 minutes sometimes, and no one can get through those. It's really difficult to sit there watching a 4-minute video with an agent that's like floating around a home. It's really tough to get through that. What's better, and much better than photos, I think, is just to capture multiple clips as you're floating throughout the property. So this is the master bedroom, click, stop the recording. This is the entrance, stop. This is the backyard. This is the pool. This is the garage. And you kind of compile 5-10 clips that an agent can then use and send that to their prospect or a future prospect or an existing client, and then have that person get what seems like a real-time edited video in 30 seconds or 60 seconds and get all the value out of it without having to watch someone walk up a staircase for 60 seconds.
Yeah, no, that's huge, and thank you. Adoption and enrollment, right? We talked about that earlier. The first one we do really well.
Okay.
After we send them videos, open houses, we'll send them from the open house, right? Totally dropping the ball on the calendar one. Now, where I think that is, it's a limiting belief, and that like our agents probably think, well, why would they want to book with me? Like there's that really self-defeated thing that happens with a lot of real estate agents. Like, no, dude, you're the man, you're the woman. People want to meet with you. Like they need a guide, right?
Yes. Yes.
But what I love, you said, it's kind of like having a virtual assistant. You're right. Like, would you really be upset if I hired you an assistant, Ryan, that just called right after you met somebody and said, hey, by the way, Ryan said he really loved hanging out with you. When would you like to meet up with him? Like, you wouldn't care. You'd actually be thrilled about that.
Right, exactly.
That's huge, and that's literally like, we're doing that. That's just now. Thank you. And then the clips, dude, clips rocks. When it first came out, we started using it. We've gotten away from it a little bit, but some of the people that like really got it, they're using it a lot. It's going to be a standard again though, because right now in the real estate market, so this is February 2019. I don't know when you're going to be watching this, whoever's out there, but I want to be aware. Dude, it's crazy. Super low inventory. People are writing offers sight unseen. I had an agent get beat out by 26 grand. The next day, 50,000. They went 86 over asking. $86,000 over asking price and still got beat. So right now you have to move fast. So our agents are literally like doing showings while people are at work using Dubb. So I love it. And I'll be completely honest, I can't verify 100% that they're all using clips, but if they're not using clips, they're insane and they're sending people really long points.
That's cool. That's cool. Another thing that I'd love to see more people using is the automation. So picture this, you host an open house, you have an event, you have a lead list, people fill out a form. I always like people filling out digital forms, but that's fine. People can fill out a piece of paper. It's all good. I mean, if it's 10, 20 people, it's not that big of a deal to kind of write that out. But to take that list, first name, last name, email, phone, and then create a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet file or a Google Spreadsheets file. Export it as a CSV and then import it into Dubb, and then have a little automated workflow called open house workflow. And what happens is you just import 10 leads right there. And then that automation is going to automatically send those 10 people a personalized video with that video that you recorded. And that's an evergreen asset. That's an evergreen video. You can use that over and over and over again.
That's huge.
It's huge. I'd love to give you guys a quick tutorial on how to do this. I think the key here is creating evergreen videos. Every person should have 5 to 10 evergreen videos. This is my prospect video. This is my open house video. This is my calendar video. This is my, hey, I want a video testimonial, my testimonial ask video. And then this is my referral video. Those are my evergreen videos. And I spend one day and I get decent lighting and you can just use your phone to record these. And you just get those in your account. You title them, you tag them, and then you can start to reuse those things. So you have a URL it's a go-to URL. And you don't need to record a fresh video every single time. The person on the other end's not going to know. I mean, you put in the time to record that video, it's still good, you know? So evergreen videos are really important. And I actually want to do a better job. I don't think I've done a good job to educate our user base on how to create evergreen videos, how to import context, how to leverage automation to effectively scale what they're doing.
So then let me edit a previous response. I just realized something about myself that is probably the right response for the rest of the industry as to why agents aren't adopting all the features.
Yeah.
We have too many gurus.
Yeah.
Because here's why I got to that answer. As you're saying all this, I'm like, why the hell am I subscribed to anybody else? I should just be reaching out to Ruben, like, hey, Ruben, how do I do this thing? Like, what do I do? And until I master everything that you teach me, which probably isn't going to happen, why am I like reading anybody else's marketing blog? And here's what I mean. I'm going to be like, I'm not going to put you on this pedestal, even though like you're clearly awesome at it. But all I'm saying is, like, even the person who's slightly better than me, I should just learn everything from them and close off everybody else for a little bit, right? Until I get what they got and get the goods. And then I can go and open up myself. We have too many sources. We're chasing too many things. I'm listening to too many people's marketing tips. When like, having this conversation and clicked, I'm like, I need to unsubscribe from other emails because I'll see your email, right? The Dubb email, and it has really good stuff. In the first couple of weeks, I read every single one, and I'm like sharing it with the team, and I upload it into this little Google Drive. Then I also have other things that I also shine out inbox. So that's what I would say. There's too many people trying to teach us how to market.
Right.
And here's the thing. I don't know which ones are good or which aren't, but what I do know is that if I'm investing the money into video, I should trust somebody who knows about video. If I'm investing my money in Dubb, I should probably be investing my time with the person who is the forefront expert on the service that I'm using. Like, dude, it's so stupid. I think about it right as I'm walking through it right now. I'm like, how am I not like, that's the only thing I should be doing when it comes to marketing, is absorbing everything I can. Because one, for the return we get on it, Dubb's not super expensive, or video. Okay, let's like not be super shameless about that. But like video isn't super expensive for the return you get on it. But I for sure am not maximizing that return. So like, why am I not asking you to do a webinar? Like, you know?
Yeah, no, let's do it. I'm super game for that. The advice that someone gave me, and I'm totally a student of this, is to take the initiatives that you're working on today, this week, this month, and then to figure out specific processes, technology, best practices that can improve those things, and then get results. You know, that is so critical. The challenge, I think, with a lot of stuff that we read, a lot of the books and a lot of the self-help and a lot of the seminars, is that you got to rebuild your life. You got to start over and everything you're doing is just off, you know? And that stuff is really disruptive, and it actually has an opposite effect on people. So what I'm always trying to do is to say, what are you doing in the next week? And let's figure out a way to get a better process, to improve the existing processes, and to get results, to get more phone calls, to get more emails, to get more bookings, to get more closes, more revenue per agent, more referrals, more testimonials, rinse and repeat, you know?
Yeah, you're completely right. Because we have changed our life. We do video. We do video. And so why wouldn't we spend the right time focusing doing those things, right? And that's one of the good things about what we do is we do have dialed in processes, and we have a very succinct way of doing things. And I think when it comes to video, we nail it, but at this level, where we can be growing incrementally in that way.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love about our leadership, so Dan Beer, he's our CEO, one of the smartest detailed, whether it comes to real estate or business in general, great marketing guy. In traditional media, he rocks it as well. On video, he does great. One of the things he always talks about is how do we reduce overwhelm? Agents are overwhelmed, right?
Yes.
Like, do to reduce overwhelm. What do we do to reduce overwhelm? And that's why I love working with him. That's why our agents love partners with him is because he's constantly like, what are we doing? But yeah, I get that. That's a cool idea. But what does that do? Does that overwhelm people? And if it does, then we don't do it. So that's why, yeah, that's huge, right? Because if I do anything else besides video this year, honestly, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. No, and you know what? I have so much empathy for what you're talking about. It's such a good point. People, and it has the reverse effect of what our goal is.
Yeah.
Because people get overwhelmed. They just freeze. It's like, you know what? This is too much. You know, it happens to all of us. I mean, it happened to me this morning in my martial arts class. We were learning some self-defense things, and it was too much information at like way too early in the morning, and I just stopped. I'm like, I can't consume this information right now.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know, just beat me up.
Yeah.
I gave up, and then I had to like pick myself up, and I was like, no, that's not cool. I need to lean in. Whatever I'm feeling with this discomfort on this learning curve, I need to lean into it. Otherwise, I'm never gonna get belts, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And going toward tension, right?
Yeah. Leaning into that's where all the magic in life happens. When you lean into that discomfort, I am such a firm believer in that. It's uncomfortable. It sucks. It really does. But that's where the learnings are. And that is, in my opinion, that's what separates you from 95% of the people out there, that they don't lean into that. And if you can make that part of your process and enjoyable and like really satisfying when you complete it, that's contentment.
It's true. Actually, one of our things in our team is that we have something called accountability groups, right?
Yeah.
The purpose is to apply pressure and tension to your business. And what's funny is what it ends up doing is doing the one thing that we've always had trouble with. So again, we're a top team. There's no one in the world like that knows who we are in our area of influence, like in San Diego County, right? If you know who we are, the last thing you'll ever have to question is, hey, I'm a real estate agent coming over to your team. Will I sell more real estate? Dude, of course you're going to sell more real estate. That's a given. We didn't know that was a given. So 95% of people have to prove like, oh, come over to my brokerage, come over to my team. We'll help you sell more real estate. That's actually not our problem. That's a given. Our problem is actually proving humanity. It's proving when you come into this thing that you think is this machine, will you still be treated like and feel like a human? And one of the best things we do is have this accountability group where people are super vulnerable, right? And it's crazy. I didn't like intend for it to all tie into video, but video conveys that in a way that honestly, a phone call, a text message, that stuff just can't, that medium can't convey a degree of vulnerability.
Right.
Like just shooting a video on the fly, there's a certain amount of people that just love and respect that so much because one, they probably never do that.
Yes.
Two, it's basically like you took a chunk out of your day to send me this video and you were probably super uncomfortable the entire time. Thank you. I honor that.
Yes. And you know what? It actually takes less time. When you get into a flow, it takes less time. Writing text is, sometimes I get really long text. It's difficult to read them, but I always watch the videos if someone sends me one.
Yeah.
You know, nice, man. So where can folks find you guys down in San Diego? Give me a web address, contact info, social handles, any way that people can kind of locate you guys.
Yeah. So we're all over at Beer Home Team. So that's the Instagram. Look us up on Facebook, Beer Home Team. You can check out soldbydanbeer.com if you are a buyer or seller. That way you can learn our process. If you want to just check out like the team, the main thing you would want to do is just go to, like, if you're interested in reaching out to the team, find me. My name is Isaac. Find me on LinkedIn. I think that's probably the best place you can find me. I'm constantly on my LinkedIn growing there. And message me. I'd love to learn more. There's obviously careers at beerhometeam.com, but honestly, I prefer to just talk to you. Now, also, when you go on those other mediums, you will, moving forward, by the time this is produced, end up on a Dubb landing page.
There you go.
So I can get your information because
nice.
So Ruben's going to teach me how to do that.
Yeah. And as promised, we're going to work on those three things in a webinar or some sort of a training video, which is the clip development, the automation, and then the calendar booking page.
Cool, man.
We'll get that integrated. Just what I would
Can I
say
do
is just, yeah.
plug, man? Can I do some more shameless plug for you?
Oh, please, man. Yeah. Tell me about your success stories. Love to hear
It
that.
actually goes back to this. All right, so check this out. We said we're going to shoot 3,000 videos in Q4 of 2019. That's what we said. That was our goal. Like, we don't care what they do. So we told all the agents this: become obsessed with the process, not the results. So we said we're going to shoot 3,000, and we're not going to judge the results until after we've done the 3,000. So in other words, we were setting them up to be like, dude, 50 videos deep, you're not going to get anything, and you got to be okay with that. Dude, it took like 10 to 20 videos each person. Like, oh my God, my client that hasn't talked to me for 7 months just said, this is no joke. Allison, who just joined our team, her first week, all we had her do is send videos to her SOI, and we have a specific script that we use. 10th video, get somebody she hasn't talked to in 7 months that's overseas and said, I will be back next month. They are literally right now looking, well, maybe not this very moment, but today, like these next couple of days, are looking for a $1.2 million beachfront rental for him to buy. But he had ghosted her for 7 months of phone calls and video. Her 10th video, she sent it out. Derek just got a list buy from it. Des just got a list buy from it. Like, video is crushing it. So the people that have not adopted, they're starting to see and they're going, oh man, this thing really works. Darn it. Because we refused to judge the process. We became obsessed with the process, detached from the results. And so that allowed us to not make any judgment about it. Like 50 videos in, 70 videos in, 300, 1,000, 2,000. But every single week I keep getting these stories. And so now we all bought it. It was so easy. And the thing that makes Dubb clutch is that literally, like, you guys kind of set yourself up, because every medium I'm on, I'm like, where's the Dubb button? Right? Like on LinkedIn, like LinkedIn, dude, you guys changed it. That crushed it. I send videos to LinkedIn all the time. I'm sure I'm saying, now I'm on like some random thing and I'm like, where's the Dubb button?
You know what? If you ever want integrations, you have my number. Call me.
Well, and what I'm saying, like, we use Salesforce. It's in there. So that's really why we love and stick with Dubb. And I see this as being a fruitful relationship, is because wherever I think, hey, this could be enhanced by video, you guys either already have the integration, or as soon as I reach out, you're like, we're on it already. It's on our product development map. Or you guys are like, cool, I'll put it on the map, on the roadmap. So that, again, we never got that from our previous provider. And I definitely couldn't see that with all the other providers. They were out of touch. Let's just leave it at that.
Fair enough, man. Listen, I really appreciate those words.
Yeah, man.
And we got a webinar to plan.
All right, cool. I'll hit you up for sure.
Sounds good, Isaac. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
See ya.